Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Up the Posh. I'm Kev and I am suited and booted for my day out at Wembley in the Johnston's Paint Trophy final against Bury. That's going to be the live com coming up in today's episode, but before we get into that, just do a little recap over the last 6 weeks or so since the last episode. We are currently, 16 points clear at the top of League One with a game in hand. If we look at the results since the semi-final of the Johnston's Paint Trophy, we've still not recaptured the invincible form that we had earlier in the season, but we have figured out how to score goals again, and we've picked up a couple more league defeats. We've now lost 3 games over the course of the season, losing to Millwall, who were up there as a playoff challenging team, and Blackpool, who were in the relegation zone. That was a really odd one. But we are on a good run of form. After the Northampton game, we beat Burton 4-1 in the league, which was the first of, I think, 3 hat-tricks from Leandro Rodriguez, the loan signing from Everton. I mentioned in the last video that he was only really coming in as a bit of a, it might be handy if we need to use him if everyone else gets injured. He's now got 11 goals in 7 league starts. It is ridiculous form that this guy is in, and as I say, I think that's been done as 3 hat-tricks plus a couple of extras as well. So that was the first of his hat-tricks. We then went away to Millwall, where we dropped Rodriguez for that one, brought Washington in just because Rodriguez was exhausted after playing a couple of days before, out of his skin. Lee Angol came back from injury in that game, but he's actually since gone out on loan. Never managed to recapture his early season form. Played another 3 or 4 games. Just didn't look like the same player. Didn't score again after he came back from injury, and I've now sent him out on loan for a month to Macclesfield just to try and recapture some of that form. So he's going to be missing the Johnston's Paint Trophy final today, unfortunately. But he's just not got it anymore. I don't know. Perhaps that's a little harsh. We'll see how he gets on this loan spell, but the way he's certainly nothing like the player who was scoring all those goals earlier in the season. We beat Barnsley 1-0. 2-1. And then this is the game where we lost to Blackpool, which was a really odd one because they're a team who were struggling, and we just never really got in the game. We picked up a couple of injuries in the match, but never really looked like winning that game, it was worrying at the time. But from then on, we've gone on another one of our runs. So we beat Bury, we beat Colchester. I think that was another game where Rodriguez picked up another hat-trick. Yep, there's another hat-trick from Rodriguez there. And from that moment on, he's pretty much been the starting striker. And was this his next hat-trick? Yep, back-to-back hat-tricks. So by that point, I think he'd started 4 games and scored 3 hat-tricks for us. He's calmed down a little bit since then. But I believe in the Swindon game, that was Washington up front scoring a hat-trick in that one, who has finally rediscovered his goal-scoring form. And the general gist of all these games is that we're already secure in a playoff position. We're not far off from securing automatic promotion now, and then hopefully going on to win the league. We're dominating the average ratings. We've got 2 players in the top 3 for most assists. Shame not to have anyone on the top goal scorers chart, but that's purely because Angol was our leading man earlier in the season and just fizzled out. Washington is probably just outside there. Rodriguez probably isn't far off breaking into that top 4, and he's played less than 10 games for us, so we'll have to see how the rest of the season pans out. But let's get on to the important business of the Johnston's Paint Trophy final. Posh actually won this in real life 2 years ago now, I think. Which I think in game is probably the season before, so we're basically defending our title in the game. It's a nice day out at Wembley, and most importantly, gives us the opportunity to win the League One double, the Johnston's Paint Trophy and the League One title, if we can hang on to our 16-point lead and win that. This is the team I'm going to be going for. Rodriguez has to start. Washington bagged a hat-trick in his last game playing in a striker role, but needs to drop back down just to bring Rodriguez back in. And that means that we're actually dropping Darren Ambrose down to the bench, who's struggling a little bit for match fitness. He's just come back from a 2-week holiday. because he's really been struggling with playing the amount of games I was looking for him to play. Taylor and Maddison back in form on the wings, and Anderson and Bigirimana in midfield. That's pretty much our first choice midfield now, and that's our first choice back four. So it's as close to a full strength side as I think you're going to see out of Peterborough for the rest of this season. You can see I have had a bit of a mess up, which I hope doesn't affect the result, in that we played last Saturday and midweek and I forgot to give the players a rest. And they were all struggling by Saturday afternoon, so I actually put them on a 1 day's rest on Saturday afternoon. I don't know what difference it's made. The conditions did bump up a little bit. I was worried when I first loaded up this screen that it would mean they were all unavailable for selection. Luckily it doesn't mean that, but I've certainly never gone into a match with the whole team currently being rested before. I don't know what effect that has on match preparation. It's going to give me a good excuse if we don't beat Bury. But let's submit that team and let's get into the match. So we are comfortable favourites. Bury, I think, are in League 2. Let me just double check that. Oh no, they're 12th in League 1. So a mid-table team in League 1. We're comfortable favourites, so we should be winning this match. Certainly the form we've been in the last half dozen games again. Marcus Maddison's currently top scorer in the competition as well, so there's no Bury players on that chart, so hopefully he'll be able to finish as top scorer in the competition. Yeah, we don't care what Bury's team is. We haven't got any strikers on the bench, which is a little bit of a worry. I guess if we do lose Rodriguez, we'll just push Washington forward and bring Ambrose on, which is the thinking there. But we've actually released Joe Gormley, and as I say, Ambrose has gone out. Not Ambrose. Lee Angol has gone out on loan. Martin Waghorn came back from injury and then got injured again before he managed to play another game. So all that talk of hopefully being able to sign him permanently, he's still only managed those 2 games right back at the start. And he's probably out for the rest of the season now, and I'll just send him back to Rangers with a with a stroppy note, because he has cost us a fortune in wages for no game time, basically. I'm so glad I took the punt on bringing in Rodriguez as well, or else it could all be looking very different at this stage. But let's sort our opposition instructions. So we've got Gary Breen sorting out the defensive instructions as usual. And yeah, we just need to go out there and carry on from the way we've been playing over the last few matches. Really hope we can just come out, attack, dominate possession, create lots of chances, play the way I know we can play. As I say, it's our first choice team. If we can't win a match against fairly weak opposition with this team, then I don't understand how to play Football Manager anymore. That being said, this is just the kind of time when the game decides to kick you in the trousers to keep you interested, and we might find that it's not to be. Fairly quiet-ish opening to the game here. We seem to be quite comfortable with possession, but the highlights seem to be going more Bury's way at the moment. Hopefully we're just giving them a little ease into the match before we start to turn up the pressure. That looked like Anderson could have potentially turned that in. He was right on top of the goalkeeper as that shot came in. But, oh, Maddison there, and Taylor's turned in the rebound. Excellent. He kept on side, did he? Excellent. That is just the kind of goal John Taylor's been scoring all season long. He is so quick, and he playing on the inside forward role as well. Any ball that drops loose in the box, he is always the first to it, just because he is one of the quickest players probably one of the quickest players in League One, and it really shows when you get opportunities like that. And that's a fantastic start to the match. Right, there we go. Oh, Maddison very close again. Possession really is starting to settle in now. We're above 60% possession. We've already created 9 chances, and there's not even half an hour on the clock yet. We could really do with turning in 1 or 2 more of these before half time, just to settle me down a little bit. It is always a little bit stressful when you... Oh, Rodriguez. Fantastic. 12 goals. I think that's 12 goals in 10 games now for that man. What a loan signing he's turned out to be. We're not paying a penny for him either. He's come in purely to get game time. Everton are still paying all his wages, and he's here for the rest of the season. How soon can I try and sign him up for next year? Because he is just in lightning form. But as I was saying, it's always a little bit stressful when you're trying to win your first competition in a new save. Kind of sets the tone for the rest of the save. If we can establish ourselves as a big game team who can come to Wembley and put on a show, I don't know if it's just psychological for me, but it then kind of feels like your team. Oh dear, that's not good. Right, 2-1 just before half time. We can't afford to concede another goal now, because as I was saying, we're setting the tone for Peterborough United in big games, and we don't want to be the team that comes to big finals and big occasions and crumbles and starts letting in sloppy goals. So 2-1 up at half time. I would have taken it before the match. Ideally, with the amount of possession and the amount we've created, I would have preferred a bigger cushion, because it is going to be a little uneasy going into the rest of the match if we don't start to convert some of this dominance into goals. Come on, let's just stick another couple in now so I can calm down. See, I'm stunned into silence by the stress of it all. It's not like me to be lost for words. Come on, Posh, we need a goal now. I think it's going to be time to make a couple of changes. We need to freshen things up a little bit. Obviously, with it being the Johnston's Paint Trophy, we don't have much on the bench, because we've only got 5 subs available, and there's nothing really attacking. I need to bring Ambrose on somehow. I'm wondering whether he comes on for Washington or Anderson, or maybe even I might bring both of those players off. I think I will. I'm going to bring Ambrose on for Washington in the attacking playmaker role, and I'm going to bring Michael Bostwick on into that holding midfield role instead of Anderson, purely for experience, and just to be in there and hopefully break up play a little bit and let the ball run free to create some space and some time for Ambrose to create some stuff for the 3 very attacking goal scoring players ahead of him, prolific goal scorers. Right, come on, Posh. Now's the time for a goal. It'd be lovely to have Darren Ambrose curl one into the top corner again, like he did in the Northampton match. Just starting to drop off on possession a little bit here, and that was a clear-cut chance for Bury. They've now had 2 clear-cut chances to our 1, and we are hanging on here now. They're really getting back into the game. Zaquani's struggling for fitness as well, so I'm going to bring Tyler Browning on, just to hopefully inject a little bit more pace and energy into that back 4, just to stop Kawamia getting in behind us again, because that's a couple of times he's done that. We're very lucky that he's only put one of them away. Oh, come on, with 5 minutes on the clock. Bostwick, why couldn't you just thump that into the back of the net like we know you can? Come on, oh, we don't want to be seeing a Bury highlight. So close to the end, well in, Ben Anik. Right, just lump the ball upfield and don't let it come back. Come on, Madison, run with it. Right, just run into the corners, lads. We don't need to be doing anything fancy, just keep hold of the ball. That's it, keep hold of the ball. Don't even think about shooting, just out to Clay at left back. Just keep the ball. Whatever you do, don't lose it. No, we've got 20 seconds left on the clock and they're breaking. Well in, Tyler Browning. Right, just run into the corners. Look, we've got Clay completely unmarked at left back again. Just get it out to him. There we go. Excellent. Our first trophy. We have won the Johnston's Paint Trophy. And now, from this point on, I imagine my next video will hopefully be the last game of the season. If not, a little earlier when we're picking up the League One title. Obviously, if you're enjoying the video, really appreciate a like or a comment on the video. And if you really want to make sure you don't miss out on the next one, make sure you subscribe as well. Thanks very much for watching.